What's going on, guys? So I'm doing another post-game reactions video with my dad. Dad's running for place 5 in Frisco City Council, and someone I look up to, someone who serves the community. And Dad, if you want to go and introduce yourself, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a long day. Rob Cox. I'm here in Frisco, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys, headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys, and I'd love to have you in Frisco if you haven't been here already. Wonderful place called the Star, where the Dallas Cowboys headquarters is. And man, Tuesday is election day. Opening early voting starts here in Texas on Tuesday, so we're all getting wrapped up for that. But today it's time to talk about a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys win.
Yeah, so first off, it was a very bittersweet victory, in my opinion. The first thing I think of is preparation, putting in work into something. Athletically, it took a lot of work for me just to get my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I thought back on that. I think back at the work you put into with the community and what you put into in your other job. And then it makes me think about Dak and all the preparation and work that's built up to this moment, and where he bet on himself, which I love that about him. And it was a devastating day for him. And I look to you for perspective, and I just kind of want to hear your immediate reaction to it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it was horrific injury, and reminds me of some of the bad injuries we've seen over the years. The Theismann injury, the Alex Smith injury. I hope it's not that bad. God, let's pray for him that it's not. The man has an incredible work ethic, and so it's extremely disappointing for to watch anybody who has worked their career towards goals and so forth, and to have something like that, abruptly stop it, at least for a period of time. I think Dak's a pretty smart guy. I'm hoping that they had some gap insurance in case he did have a catastrophic injury, so that long term he has some of the financial security. But let's not forget that he was franchised this year, so at 30, 40. I don't even remember what the number was, but
I think it's like 31 million. Yeah.
31 million is not a bad year for most folks, and Dak has an incredible good head on his shoulders. But I think he's one of those young men that will fight through this and just come back ready. And I think probably a dislocation and a compound fracture is going to have quite a few screws in it, some plates and stuff like that. I hope it's less than a year of recovery for him, but I have no doubt that he'll work hard and get back to something that he loves to do. And you can just see the joy in the game for him.
Yeah, it's tough to see his family and him have gone through this year with the loss of his brother, his older brother. I was at the game in 2013. It was Mississippi State Bulldogs at the South Carolina Gamecocks. I believe it was the day before his mother passed away. That Mississippi State team was overmatched, but the one thing I took from that game is just the heart that Dak Prescott brought to the table, the emotion, his leadership, his courage, all of those traits. And I've said it multiple times today, just jumped out the window to me. And it's something I remember 7 years later to this day. What a guy.
Yeah. Well, you can't forget those things, right? That's what sport is all about, is people with character who overcome, maybe sometimes overcome talent through work ethic, sometimes maybe overcome obstacles in their youth and take the opportunity to make a better life for themselves. And Dak, inspires us all to do the best we can do. And so good for the youth in America to follow his example, in the way he handles himself, the way he deals with adversity, and his candor in dealing with life issues that he's had to deal with this year. That's the best thing I've seen from him, is that he's opened the door for a lot of people to talk about mental health and other issues that we have to talk about, and not push it under or sweep it under the rug. And so I give him a lot of props for that. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage, but he seems to have a lot of courage. And he's one tough guy, and let's just pray for the best for him. And I have no doubt that he'll come back. I don't want to say better than ever, because that's going to be tough with that ankle, but I certainly think he can perform at the elite level that I think he can perform at.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get to some football, but one last thing I do want to say is being a starting quarterback in the NFL is a tough job from a leadership perspective. On a good day, you got kids that come into the league at 18 to maybe 20, 22 years old,
Right.
and a lot of them, some of them really step out above and beyond, but some of them aren't always ready for the position. When you're a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, it's even above and beyond that, because you're just right there in the limelight 24/7. The media has always wanted to talk to you. I always thought Romo did a great job with that, and Dak, as far as just being a leader for the community, how he stood out to kids growing up playing football, and I just think what a great picture he paints there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Anything else?
There's a lot of people here. Yeah, there's a lot of people here in Frisco that are posting personal pictures of him with them, because he does give back to our community. He gives back to the community of Prosper, gives back to the community of Frisco here in North Dallas, and he's been a great community guy. And I think that doesn't change for him. I hope that as he heals, that he can find the opportunity to get back on the field with the Dallas Cowboys. That's my hope for him. And I think he will continue to be a great example for young people to persevere through obstacles. And quite frankly, all of us have obstacles in life. Sometimes they're not compound fractures. Sometimes they're financial. Sometimes they're the impacts of COVID on our jobs, whether you're working in a restaurant or a bar that's been closed down because of COVID. And you can look. We use sport to look to people like Dak, for some of the courage and character that he brings to that, and try to emulate that in our everyday lives. So it's really good for our community. Really difficult to watch that, not just from a gruesome side of the injury, but from the impact to him personally. I think he's smart enough, hopefully, to have some gap insurance so that he still gets with the catastrophic injury, still gets a payday, because he deserves it as hard as he's worked. Sure. And the shelf life of a football player in the NFL is 3 years, and so you got to get yours while you can. And I think I wouldn't, if I was him, I wouldn't second guess betting on yourself for a long-term contract. And I hope that he gets it. So it's just a matter of when and where. And if it's the Dallas Cowboys, I would love that. But let's talk a little bit about this game. I mean, how smart were the Cowboys to bring in a veteran quarterback like Andy Dalton? Because he has, the Cowboys traditionally did not want to bring in veterans like that. They brought in Kellen Moore and another quarterback. Can't remember the quarterback we had 4 years ago that went on to coach high school football around here. But
Orton, Kitna, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, Orton, yeah. But to bring Andy Dalton in, who has performed at a very elite level at points in his career, he's fought some injury issues as well, is great. But the question that really is begged to be answered is who is Andy Dalton's backup? You're one play away from the backup. And since the Cowboys are in first place in the NFC East, God help us, you got to think about those things. They have if you look at the teams on their schedule, they had a tough start of the schedule. Who knew that the Cleveland Browns would be 4-1 for the first time in their and since Belichick was their coach? So the Cowboys seem to be making every game hard and making the schedule tough, but they did pull one out today.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I think a lot of people kind of forgot about the football aspect of that game after the Dak injury. And one thing that might be kind of forgotten is that think about this game last year, does Cooper Rush come in and win that game? I don't think so. I think you could definitely say that Andy Dalton might be the difference between a win and a loss today. After Dak does go down, I think the team went kind of flat, which is understandably so. But after a couple of kind of failed drives, Andy Dalton did pull through, and man, he made some incredible throws. And Michael Gallup, we've been talking about him every week. When the spotlight is on him, he's ready for the moment, and he made two great catches at the end of the game.
Yeah, let's just say that CeeDee Lamb made some good plays. Cooper made a great first down late in that game where he looked like he's going to be stopped 7 yards short. Mm-hmm. And then Gallup, my goodness, what a throw, but what a catch. Two of them, actually, the sideline catch that we had, and then the deep ball. I mean, goodness, those were perfectly thrown balls. Dalton looks a little rusty early on. The fumble was, come on. It's just, but you're going to get that. You're going to get that.
Did you watch that play though? I don't mean to interrupt you, but did the center have anything to do with that play? Because I know Biotish is a rookie, and I didn't really see the first part of the play. So was it a bad snap? Was it all on Dalton or what?
I'm going to give that one on Dalton. He looked like it hit his hands and bounced to the right. And, he should have had that ball, in my opinion. But that's going to happen in the course of a season. The problem is it's been happening to the Cowboys more often than not with turnovers. Yeah. But we actually had turnover. We had a pick. We got a touchdown on a turnover, fumble recovery. They had to pick six, but that was it was good to get a turnover. The defense, once again, I mean, it's deja vu all over again, right? And so our defense is not strong. They played a little better in the second half, in my opinion, and made some stops down the stretch that they needed to make to keep us in the game. Although, I mean, it's just stupid play to allow them to have another field goal, after a punt. We're supposed to be punting the ball and move it up 5 yards, and he nails a field goal. So, just some of those types of things. We got to eliminate mistakes. I just wonder if we overhype our talent in the preseason, and then we get into the season and we just don't have the talent, or is it a scheme issue? Why are we giving up 35 points a game?
Yeah, it's a very good point. The one guy that I did see kind of flying all over the field, making plays for once this season was Jalen Smith. I don't know what the tape's going to show with him, but I do remember seeing him multiple times, quick to the ball, making tackles. He's never too quick to celebrate. He loves to celebrate a good play, but he had his fair share of them today. So I was happy to see that. I was happy to see DeMarcus Lawrence get his first sack of the season. Ended up in a fumble recovery and a touchdown by Anthony Brown, who we're glad is back from injury this week. We know the defense isn't good. It isn't going to be good. But, as we slowly start to get some linebackers back, some of the secondary guys back, could we just be not atrocious on defense? And that be just good enough,
Yeah, and I think, when you have a young secondary, well, I don't even want to call him young. Diggs, I thought he had some great cover today, and I think he's going to be a great one. They made a couple great catches on him, but he had one guy had a one-handed catch because he had perfect coverage in the situation, and I thought we hit the slants pretty good today. But let's not forget we were also bailed out by two penalties on touchdowns by the Giants. Yeah. The fake punt, fake field goal. I think the refs helped us out on that, or the Giants did. But let's not forget that when there's a shift of personnel, you're supposed to allow the other team to get a change of personnel in as well. And usually they're standing behind the center until until everybody comes across and gets in place. And they didn't do it on that play, so that was a setup. So I was glad that there was a little bit of movement, because it certainly did not seem like everybody was set, and that play was destined to be successful. give the Giants credit. I thought Garrett called an excellent game and kept the Cowboys off off kilter a little bit. Mixed it up. Um, they scored 30 something points on us. So when you score 30 something points on the road, you should win. You should think you should win.
Well, I mean, Dad, I knew Jason Garrett was gonna come out there, pull some tricks out of his hat, which he never did when he was with Dallas. It seems like, but what was their trick play? I forgot. They had the fake field goal, but I think they had another one before that on offense. And
early didn't they run a reverse or something?
Yeah, something like that.
early in the game.
Yeah.
And, I did like Kellen Moore's trick play himself, right? The double reverse. I think the trick play, they had a flea flicker. Remember the flea flicker earlier in the game?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. And,
I think I missed it because CBS didn't cut me in until like 20 minutes into the game. We had the Chiefs game going on.
You got to get on. You got to get on the NFL thing so you can watch that stuff on your laptop when the TVs are going down. But
I had Sunday ticket, but they blacked the game out because it was local because it was CBS. And then I had like a tornado warning, but it was like an hour away from me. But it was our county. I live in a pretty big county, so that was annoying too.
It's one of those things. We're so spoiled in this country.
Right.
We have great things like tornado warnings, and people our death rate in tornadoes is extremely low compared to around the globe. But yet, our lives are disrupted on football Sunday when we lose our feed for a few minutes. But glad you're safe, and glad hopefully everybody's safe from any tornadoes that touch down. But the tornado that touched down, in our game was, how do you continue to make as many mistakes as we're making, and who's responsible for that as an organization? I am a little frustrated that we continue to have turnovers. We too many mistakes. I don't think it's a lack of effort though, in terms of. I know DeMarcus Lawrence called people out for being soft, and I didn't see soft this week. I just saw not being in the right position, and 30-something points a game on defense. You don't win championships. This team is supposed to, everybody pundit said they're going to compete for a championship this year, and you don't win those when your defense is as bad as ours. I didn't think the line did too bad on offense. I thought they protected decently. And our wide receivers did great. Tight ends did well. We don't have any problem throwing the ball. Running the ball, we're not powerful like we used to be, but there's still a lot of good runs. But man, we got to stop making the big mistakes.
Yeah. And, with all things considered, with Tyron Smith out for the season, with Lael Collins out for the season, with Joe Looney out for a few weeks, and not just that, but Travis Frederick retiring in the offseason. So you're really on your what would have been the third string center. You only got two of your really big of the original big five starting offensive linemen out there, and one of them is Connor Williams. So nothing big about him right now, but so it was kind of impressive that they were able to protect Andy Dalton at the end of the game. But there was a couple plays, and I think it was the Gallup catches where the offensive line, and I think Zeke was back there blocking as well. But hey, they gave him some time to let guys get open to make a play, so that was good.
Absolutely. I thought their pass protection was decent in the game, right? And running the ball, I have problems when we throw passes on first down. When you take a 2-yard loss or a 4-yard loss, throwing it behind the line of scrimmage and so forth versus downfield. But when you have a quarterback that hasn't played a lot in a while, I guess you run those types of plays because they're supposed to be safe. But I think Dalton, has performed at an elite level in our league, and I think he can. With the right offense, he can definitely move our team. He's not going to have he's not going to be able to move around quite as much as Dak did in the pocket. So, if we can protect them, we're going to have to maybe change our offense a little bit. Um, but number one, we just can't be down 14 points in the first quarter of games. And it's
Yeah.
just there's something to be said for the Cowboys' resilience. That 4 games this year they've been down by at least 14 points and have come back to at least one score. But my goodness, you just can't put yourself in that position and be a team that goes anything more than 500. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we're going to be fortunate. How great would it be to be a 7-9 team and make the playoffs in the NFC East?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we
not
might
so great.
win the division by 2-3 games if we go 7-9.
I'm telling you, who would have thunk? That's all I got to say. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. I did think we were able to establish the run a little better, though. And it really just comes down to, I don't think the Giants are as good at stopping the run as Seattle is, as Cleveland are. I think the Giants defense definitely plays to a pretty high level, considering their personnel's not all world by any means, but they go out there, they play smart, they play tough. Their front seven are pretty impressive as far as the effort they put in. I think Zeke had like 90 yards. Pollard had a couple good runs too. So we were able to better establish the run today. And I think that was a big part of why we were more competitive. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Pollard's been a good 1-2 guy, coming in a little bit different running style than Zeke. Is able to make people miss a little bit more. Certainly has done well the last 2 games after having a pretty bad start to the season. So kudos to him. I think that's great. Zeke, one thing you get with Zeke, he runs hard. If you look at the first quarter, and I saw that you missed this part, but he got a swing pass, went down 8-12 yards downfield, and he just took on. He basically flattened the cover guy on the sideline. Nice. He put his shoulder into him. He crumpled, and Zeke just popped up and ran back to the line, and so let's go do it again. I did like the fact they came out and they had tempo early in the game on the first drive, and I think that if you run the 4-minute offense pretty damn well, let's have in that's tempo, keep it going the rest of the game as long as your linemen can handle it, and you put the defense on notice.
Yeah.
And so we go down and we score a field goal, and then we give up 2 touchdowns. So 14-point lead.
I'm a fan of the up-tempo offense, of keeping that defense on the field, wearing them down. It really works too when you got someone like Zeke and then Tony Pollard is that lightning, that thunder and lightning match. I don't think Zeke fumbled the ball today. Somebody did though on the Cowboys. Who fumbled? Do you remember?
Well, you mean other than Dalton?
Oh, so was that the only fumble? Was the snap? Okay, good. Yeah. So Zeke didn't fumble the ball today. Tight ends, we didn't see much. Blake Bell, I believe, got injured. Hopefully
actually, there was a fumble. Wasn't there a fumble on a catch?
I thought so, but I don't remember who.
It was Dalton. It was Dalton.
Okay. I might have to look it up, but the only other thing I really wanted to say, because I didn't mention him in my live video after the game, was Cedric Wilson is another guy who just seems to be consistently earning more snaps week in, week out. Guy's just consistent. He makes plays and he's impressive. He's fast after the catch and he's got good hands. I really like what I see in him.
Yeah, I think how can you not like what you're seeing in the Cowboys receivers? Lamb had a touchdown that he dropped. It was a tough play because the ball was thrown with hair behind him early in the game when we kicked the field goal. And other than that, I thought he played pretty well. And our receiving core, I think they're pretty solid.
Yeah, solid. There's no doubt.
I mean, Brown, Wilson, Cooper, Gallup, Lamb. Add in our 2, our tight ends are doing what they need to do. Mm-hmm. Blake Bell got hurt a little bit today, but Schultz has been phenomenal this season.
I don't think he got any catches today. Did he get targeted at all in the first quarter? Or
I don't believe Schultz did, but Bell did. Uh, there might have been one play on Schultz. I have to look at the stats and check that out. But we don't have any problem. Our skill players are good. You nailed it earlier. We're on a starting offensive lineman that is 80% second string, and luckily we had some depth there, at least to make it plausible for pass offense. Hopefully they'll gel and continue to get better as the season goes along, and we can have and what would be so great to get back to 500 next week with a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah.
So that's what we get to look forward to this week. Focus on getting ready for is the Cardinals coming in?
It is. We got another home game, third one in a row against the pretty tough looking Arizona Cardinals team with Kyler Murray, former Texas A&M Aggie, and God, forgot the guy's name. Who's the receiver from Clemson? Nuke Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins. So maybe the best receiver in the world right now. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, how can you argue with Lamb or?
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Or a Gallup after today. To catch this Gallup main on the sideline were pieces of art.
It's interesting, Dad. Like last year, I think we would be a little concerned if Amari Cooper's missing a lot of snaps or he's not getting a lot of targets because maybe he's not completely healthy. Well, I mean, this year, then that's just more opportunity for the other guys. It's like Cooper wasn't getting a lot of targets early in the game, and we didn't miss a beat because of that.
Well, the ball wasn't being forced, right? When the ball's not being forced, you may not get those targets, but you're taking attention. Mm-hmm. And your cover schemes are having to, put attention on Elliott and put attention on Cooper. So that allows Gallup, Brown, Wilson, and Lamb to have their opportunities to get open and to make a difference. We typically on offense, we only beat ourselves. We're not for the most part, unless we're trying to run the ball and we can't run the ball like we did a couple games. From a passing perspective, we just beat ourselves. Most teams do that, and most of their mistakes are like that. But for the Cowboys, I mean, the sky's the limit on offense. They are making a makeshift line, and that's difficult. But I still have most of my concerns are on defense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was watching a little bit of the Eagles game, and Dad, I think I lost you on video, but that front four, if you could still hear me, okay, cool. That front four on the Eagles is nasty every year. Their defensive line is so good. I'm a little jealous as a Cowboys fan, to be completely honest, of their front four. At the same time, I think if we can start to get guys back on defense, who knows if that linebacker group will be able to ever be completely healthy this season. But, man, if they are with LVE, with Jalen Smith, with Sean Lee, if they're all there, I think they'll play at their best. And then the defense might be just good enough, like I said earlier, to potentially win a division.
Yeah, so I think Thomas continues to struggle. I think he is one of the touchdowns that the Giants had, he just got sucked into the line. Running back goes right by, and it's just he really continues to struggle. So we need LVE back for sure. I think our secondary, I'm hopeful that they'll start gelling here soon. I saw some promise in this game, late in the game. They're still giving up too many big plays.
Hey, Dad, do you know who number 40 is on the defense?
No.
So this was the big joke on
Bill Bates.
Twitter.
Bill Bates.
No, not from 100 years ago.
No, come on. You can't, Bill Bates just lives down the road here, just outside of Frisco.
Oh, nice.
Spent most of his time here. One of the best safeties ever played for the Cowboys because he would just put a hurting on you. He wasn't the best athlete. Man, if he hits you, you're going to remember it on Monday morning. I know that for a fact. So 40, who is 40?
So Stephen Parker, former Dolphin, it was kind of the ongoing joke on Twitter because literally nobody knew who he was. I did. I've watched a little bit of his tape the past couple of weeks. He was on the practice squad, but he has had a couple interceptions for the Dolphins in the NFL. He's taken some snaps away from Darian Thompson, who I also saw make some nice tackles today. So we know the safety part of the secondary is weak. Um, I thought it was funny. We're kind of trying everything. Daryl Worley's out there at defensive back more than safety, and he's struggling. You know what Shakira said? Hips don't lie. Well, yeah, his hips just don't have it to play cornerback in the NFL. But I liked what I
Yeah,
saw more at safety from Worley.
good, good. Um, I happen to be spending a lot of time during this game on social media, so I didn't get to watch it at the level of detail I may normally watch a football game.
Yeah.
But certainly, um, we had a lot of blown coverages. We had several times during the game. Jones had too much time to throw the ball. And you can't give quarterbacks in the NFL 6 seconds to throw a ball. You can't put that on your defensive backs. But other times we put a lot more pressure on him in the second half, and I think we made good adjustments in the second half. We had 2 turnovers that cost us hard in this game. If we can clean those things up, we certainly have a better opportunity to have a more commanding presence and not have to rely on a 70, 80 yard drive with a minute left.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dad, there's one more thing I want to throw at you before we get going.
Oh, bro, what is this?
I was listening to a guy I do a lot of collaborations with, a guy I write for on fan2fannetwork.com. His name's Law Nation. Big time Dallas Cowboys YouTuber. He has a show with some guys, and they had Jeff Kavanaugh on the other night. Kavanaugh was kind of messing around Twitter the other day. I think it was after the bad loss in Cleveland, and he said something to Wade Phillips, like what are you up to? And tweeted at Wade Phillips. And Wade was like, I don't know, just kind of sitting around waiting. You know how Wade is.
Waiting for that phone call.
Yeah, waiting for that phone call. And so, Mike Nolan continues to struggle. I do like that the defense did step up and make plays tonight when they needed to, but moving forward, we added a little easy this week. If we don't make these plays against the Cardinals and the Ravens and the 49ers coming up and the Pittsburgh Steelers, is that on the table for you? I know Mike McCarthy's not going to get fired this season, but if it gets really ugly, could Mike Nolan and could Wade Phillips get that call at defensive coordinator?
I would think you have a better chance of getting Rod Marinelli back than you do have Wade Phillips coming here to play to coach the defense. And I don't think either one of those things is going to happen. I think Mike Nolan is going to at least have a season. He didn't have an off season. And of course, the Cleveland Browns didn't have an off season either, but they didn't have. Maybe they had a younger defense in a little bit better position than we are. We've had some challenges there, right? Our defensive tackles have struggled. We've had folks go on in the IR.
Tristan Hill got hurt tonight too, and I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I did not hear what happened with him. I'm hopeful that he comes back, but Nolan inherited a team that had really weak defensive tackles, and then he wanted to change the defensive model that is really defensive tackle specific, right? And if you don't have strong defensive tackles, you just can't dominate the line of scrimmage the way you need to. And that's what it really all boils down to. How many runs do our opponents this year get before they ever get hit, or 3 to 4 yards past the line of scrimmage? And that's because our defensive tackles are not moving the line of scrimmage at all. And on strong run defense, you got to do that. You got to control. It's also the reason why DeMarcus Lawrence does not get sacks. Let's be honest about it. It has to do. We have no internal pressure at all, and so it's really easy to sit and wait for somebody to go outside and just keep pushing them out than it is for to run a stunt. When you have really good tackles and you run stunts, we just can't do that. And then you have Van Der Esch out, and I don't know if the switch with Jalen this year has worked to the other linebacker position. I think Van Der Esch did a better job of setting up defenses and so forth. But the jury's still out on that, right? So there's lots of challenges that Nolan has been handed. But the bottom line is for him to be a solid force here, he has to get this defense playing better. And maybe just, I mean, we all buy into the hype, Ryan, every preseason, right? We do it here in Frisco all the time. We go to the Star, we watch the, training camp, and, we get a week here with that, and everybody's pumped, and, we got the best players. Oh, do we really have the best players, or we just have the players that we have and we hype the crap out of them because that's what we do? And it's really the one we know it's got to be the best because, we just gave him a $70 million contract or whatever. I'm hopeful that our talent evaluation gets better if that's an issue. So far, I think you sent me a comment earlier today that the Garrett Marinelli coaching staff seems to be better than the coaching staff that we have, and so far I can't say that you're wrong in saying that. I mean, I don't see any improvement in our organization based off the changes in coaching. And quite frankly, I think that Garrett kept people in games better. He may not have always won the games, but he kept games closer early on. And, so there were some differences in the way games are being played. From an offensive perspective, Kellen Moore is calling his offense. It's no different than what it was last year, in my opinion. Except we have a better receiving core this year. And honestly, what did we average a game last year? We moved the ball. We scored a lot last year as well, right?
We had the same problems. Yeah.
We have the problems haven't changed, and I think that needs to be addressed. And hopefully, it's not going to be addressed in season because the salary cap doesn't allow you to bring people in the way you might like to, and you can't really trade very well in the NFL anymore. But I'm hopeful that we can get this fixed. Why we still have this prolific offense that we have. But my final question to you is, who's going to back up Andy Dalton?
His name's Ben DiNucci. At first I was going to say Cedric Wilson because of that touchdown throw in the first quarter, but I think I think number 7.
He's the third best quarterback on our. He was the third best quarterback on our staff so far on our roster. So
yeah, absolutely, in the regular season. But yeah, Ben DiNucci, the rookie. Couldn't even tell you off the top of my head where he went to school, like James Madison or something.
It was James Madison, I believe.
Okay, so that's our number 2. Do we think about? Obviously, we signed somebody.
Obviously, we're going to sign somebody. I think we got to sign a veteran at this point.
You know who it's going to be? Clayton Thorson, I think, guy that's been on the team the couple off seasons. He's played with the Eagles. He's played with us. I don't know if he's played any real snaps in the NFL or not, but he's been in the league a few years now.
Yeah. Hey, I enjoy seeing Colt McCoy on the field after the game.
I missed that. I forgot.
Is he the backup quarterback for the Giants?
Yeah, Daniel Jones backup. Yeah, I forgot they signed him this offseason.
Yeah.
He still has a job.
Yeah, well, he's a really good game manager. I don't know what arm he has left, and he's not that old, but in football years he's like dog years, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of wonder, but the Cowboys have got to get another veteran, somebody that has
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, no, somebody that can win. And
oh man, Dad, I think I lost you again. Dang it. Well, if I did, that's okay. Feed cut off, but I was about to end the video soon anyway. So guys, appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button, and I'll be back for more Daily Dallas Cowboys content tomorrow. We're out. Peace.